Okay, we'll get going. Good morning again, everybody. This is Frank McMillan, and I am the president and the founder of a company called Insure Protect, and we are here to introduce RIDES, which stands for Ride It Daily Extended Service, and it was invented specifically for the independent bike dealers, and it is exclusive to NBDA members. You have to be an NBDA member to be able to sign up for this, and so we're really happy to be associated with you. And we look forward to presenting this to you and getting you at least acquainted with it. So we'll jump right into it. I think it's important, assuming I can make this work, I think it's important we talk a little bit about who I am. We'll talk about the company, and then we'll jump right into the program. I'm not a big believer that I want to keep you online for 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to get through this in a few short slides, and then we'll open it up for questions. So first of all, myself, I'm an industry veteran. I've been involved in this industry for about 4 decades. I started out my career in retail for the first 17 years, and that's where I learned how to sell extended service plans. That's also where I learned how to underwrite them. I ran multiple warranty programs in very large and also boutique retail operations, mostly in the consumer side. But then I graduated into the administration side. I've worked for 2 very large insurance companies, Transamerica and Star, which is owned by the same guy that runs AIG, and we developed and opened up warranty programs there. I've also been involved very much in the OEM programs, underwriting warranties for manufacturers that want to roll out programs, and we take the risk from day one. So I'm very much involved with warranties, with regulation, with insurance, and understand how to underwrite this stuff and put together a program. I am an avid mountain biker, just that you know. I didn't get into the RIDES program because I thought it would be cool to develop a program for the bicycle industry. I know a lot about bikes. I am an avid mountain biker. I live here in the Santa Cruz Mountains. I ride all over the Sierras. I'm also a triathlete and Ironman, all that kind of stuff, so I also ride roads. So I just love riding. I ride very many days every week. I ride as much as I can. I've also been involved with manufacturing. We have a product that we sell that's a rideable elliptical. We were the first people that ever electrified it, which is really cool. So I totally get what BOM development is, what design is, and I visited lots of factories in the U.S. and Taiwan and China. So I'm not new to this. I'm very much engaged in it. And we developed this program specifically for the bike industry that we think will really make sense to you and your customers. Let me continue on this, if I can get this thing to flip. There we go. And who we are, I just want you to know who Insure Protect is and how it happens. So if you look at the industry, some of you have probably heard of Square Trade. They're the largest consumer direct sales of warranties in the industry. Square Trade was bought about a year and a half ago by Allstate. If you look at ServiceNet, they were bought by AIG. If you look at NEW, they were bought by Assurant. And there's literally hardly any independent TPAs anymore. And that means that if you sell an extended warranty that belongs to one of those companies, that are administrated by one of those companies, their focus is to support the insurance company. It's not to support you or to support the consumer. If an insurance company is a public company and the TPA is owned by the insurance company, then the TPA realistically, has to look out for the best interest of the shareholders, not of the purchasers of extended service plans. So back in 2017, we started to look at what was going on in the industry. I've been involved, like I said, in administration for a long time. We decided to launch Insure Protect and start to develop programs and things that where we can stand behind the manufacturers and the retailers and the people that want to sell service contracts for the unserved industry, such as rides, the underserved industry, such as lithium-ion batteries, and industries that have never been touched before, like surfing and all kinds of stuff like that. So we want to be an independent TPA that's going to go out and create new type of programs. And that's what that was all about. Now, as far as rides, it took us a couple years to develop it. We did introduce it last September, the previous September at Interbike. That's where I met Chad. we started to talk to people about it. We talked to a few of the board members, got their input back on some of the pricing and how the thing was constructed. We made some changes to it, and that's what you're about to be introduced to. Just that you know who I am too, I have developed programs you probably heard of. I do still work for Good Sam, for Camping World. We developed the Harbor Freight program. I underwrote the Square Trade program. We literally work with companies that are attaching at 30, 40, 50% that are, $100 million, billion-dollar programs. So we can work with small programs. We can also work with incredibly large programs. We make it really, really easy. And like I said, we're about to launch Surf Care. We're also going to launch Ski and Board Care. So I think a big focus of our company is going to be outdoor sports and to do things that help people stay healthy. Our group is super, super diverse. One of my associates helped us launch an online warranty software application back in the 90s that you'll see now is used by, e-insurance and all types of other insurance companies that make it real easy to get quotes online, and you'll be able to eventually see that with us. Like I told you, we're super tied to the bike industry, and then just so that those of you that may or may not know what the BLC is, the Bike Leadership Conference, I've been a guest speaker there. I've participated in Sea Otter quite a few times, so on and so forth. So we are really happy to be involved with this. This last little note on here about EcoFlow, for those of you who've never seen these guys, EcoFlow is a company that is now marketing lithium-ion batteries and all kinds of different stuff. They have all kinds of neat technology that you will see come into your e-bike business. Some where they take lithium-ion batteries, they coat them with polymers that enable the lithium-ion to be a lot lighter, last a lot longer, and deal with heat a lot better. So we've been involved with them, underwriting their program from day one that they launched, and we love that industry, and we love the way it's tying into the e-bike business. So here's really the crux of this whole deal. So why would you want to authorize? Well, here's what I believe. We help fulfill the two reasons you're in business, okay, which are making money and satisfying customers. There's no doubt that you need to make money to satisfy customers. There's no doubt that if you don't satisfy customers, you won't be around to make extra money, okay? So here's the way we look at it. Here's a common thing in retail, and I'll talk directly in your industry. You have a customer that comes in, spends some time, you sell them a bike. Let's say it's $3,000, whatever the price. A nice mountain bike, it's got front shocks, back shocks, total suspension. The guy really digs it. He's out riding, and about a year and a half later, he comes in and he says, hey, Brandy, you sold me this mountain bike a year and a half ago. I was up riding in the high desert there, and I went over this jump, and I landed, and the shocks broke. I need to get it taken care of. And so, your tech in there, your service manager says, okay, well, we can change those out for you. We got a really great pair of shocks. It's probably an upgrade, for $300 or $400. And the guy says, wait a minute. I told you I only bought this a year and a half ago, and I've only ridden it 5 times. All of a sudden they reduce the amount they ride. I've only ridden it 5 times. It's already broken. And so you as a retailer have to make a decision. Well, am I going to tell this guy, look, this is out of warranty. You need to pay for it yourself, right? Which is legitimate, right? Or after the guy argues and says, wait a minute, are you going to say, okay, we're going to go ahead and take care of you. We're going to split the cost with you. We're going to do something knowing that you can't get an RMA back from the manufacturer. It's going to cost you money. So the question is do you lose money or do you lose a customer? Okay. And neither one of those is a great answer, but I probably know what you're probably going to do. You're probably going to take care of your customer. Well, here's what happens when you sell an extended service plan. When you sell it, you make about 50 points on it, okay? So you sell it for $200, you pay us about $100, okay? Then when that bike breaks a year and a half later, you contact us, or the customer contacts us, we authorize the repair, you go ahead and do the repair, okay, or the replacement of the part, and then we pay you full shop rates for your repair, parts, and labor, okay? That's how it works. So you make money at the time of sale, you make money at the time of service, and when it comes to satisfying customers, you don't get any argument. You get to satisfy them. You get to make more money, which means you retain your customers. And if you think about this, an extended service plan isn't inventory. There's no shrinkage. It's never back ordered. It's always available to add on. and this is really what I want you to understand, is you will add at least 4% to your your store bike sales revenue stream. If you have a 20% attachment rate and the average extended service plan is 20%, you're going to add 4% to your revenue stream at a 50-point margin. That's a fact, okay? There's something we call the 20-30-50 rule, okay, which means 20% of the people that you offer these to will always buy them, 30% will never buy them, and 50% might. So 50% might on more expensive bikes. You have a shot between 20 and 70% attachment rate. And like I told you earlier, you know, our customers get somewhere between 30 and 60% attachment rate. They really do. Even Good Sam, who has members that know they can go back in and race heck, they have high attachment rates because they know that their programs aren't available anywhere else. We created some programs that what my theme is your item doesn't have to break to be able to take advantage of it. And that's what I'll talk about in a second. A couple other reasons you want to offer it is it gives you national presence, right? Rides will be honored everywhere. We help level the playing field between you and other people selling all the extended service plans and try to make themselves sound national. This is truly a national program for you, and we're going to let you offer better coverage than any national dealer, and I'll show you that in a second, right? As far as why customers buy it, this is simple. Customers buy them because they save time. Extended service plans save people time. They don't have to look around to get, you know, a price on repair and maintenance. They just bring it back to you. Super convenient. If they're traveling, they call an 800 number. We'll refer them to the nearest service center, which will likely and almost always be an NBDA member. Transferable and renewable. If they buy them for a gift, they're transferable. This is great at Christmas time. You can overcome the objection when people say, oh, but I'm buying it for a gift. You can say, great, buy it, and then you can just transfer it to their name. If they're selling their ride, you know, keeps up the resale value. People that want to resell their ride, this is really fantastic because now would a customer rather buy a bike with a warranty or without if they were buying a used one? And of course, renewability is really cool. And then we also don't have any, you know, deductibles, no out of pocket. We don't have a bunch of baloney. So how does this program work? I'm going to try to blow this up. Hopefully this works for you. First of all, when you sign up, we're going to give you brochures. This is a brochure. This page right here is the front of the brochure. This page here is the back of the brochure. And then over here, let me go back down here. Sorry about that. Over here is the inside, okay? So here's how the program works, okay? This is kind of our theme. Chad came up with this, ride more, worry less, which I kind of like. There's essentially 3 different programs. First of all, there's a replacement plan, which covers your inexpensive bikes. You're not going to sell many more of these. They're no-brainers. It's for a customer that buys a cheap bike. They get 2 years for $5, 3 years for $9. If the little bike breaks, they bring it back into your store. You just give them a new one, and we reimburse you for that bike, okay? Then there's a repair plan. This covers 100% parts and labor of any bike between $100 and $499. It's 2 or 3 years from the date of purchase, and it's broken down into 2 different price points. And in this case, once you sell it, you report the sales to us, and when the customer comes back in, you can go ahead and repair the bicycle and charge us for the repair, parts, and labor, okay? But where it really gets fun, and this is what I'm most proud of, is our repair and maintenance plan. And what these do is for all the bikes over $500, either 2-year or 3-year, you'll see this says 1XM. That means in the 2nd and 3rd year, they can bring their bike back in once a year, and you can do a tune-up on it, and we'll reimburse you to do the maintenance. Okay, this is really cool because this means that the customer doesn't have to wait for their bike to break to bring it in to get serviced. They can bring it in before the riding season starts, bring it into your shop, you do a tune-up on it, and we'll go ahead and reimburse you for your tune-up, okay? 2-year or 3-year from date of purchase. If they buy a 2-year, they get 1 tune-up in the 2nd year. If they buy a 3-year, they get 1 tune-up in the 2nd year, 1 tune-up in the 3rd year, okay? Or what I like to call maintenance. When we were talking to some of the board members, some of them said, well, you know, we have bike dealers that ride quite a bit less, or bike riders that ride quite a bit more, than, you know, than needing 1 maintenance year. So what we did is we upped this for about 20% more. They can get 3 maintenances per year of extension. So if they buy a 2-year, they're going to get 3 maintenances in that second year. And if they buy a 3-year, they're going to get 3 maintenances in the second and third year. So this is a max of 3 free maintenances, and this is a max of 6. So think about this. When you're talking to your customers and they come in and they're buying a bike over 500 and you're qualifying them and you're finding out what type of rider they are, how often they ride, you'll be able to say to them, you know what, this comes with a manufacturer's warranty of a year, but we have a program that's exclusive to us and we want to make sure you understand about it. You have a choice. You can go with 3-year or 2-year, and then you can bring it back in once per year in the second or third year, and we'll go ahead and do a tune-up for you for free and make sure your ride's ready to go. But if you ride a lot, and if you tell me you're riding a lot, you ride all the time, you ride your bike to work every day, or you do this, I suggest that you go with the 2-year or the 3-year with 3 times per year. So now you can give them a double alternative of choice. You can give them a 3-year or a 2-year with 1 time per year, or you give them a 3-year or a 2-year with 3 times per year, or you can even go 3-year, 3-year. Would you rather have 1 free maintenance or 3 free maintenance? If I was a shop owner or a bike dealer owner, I would probably do a great job with everybody I sell these to and make sure that I communicate to them via email or some type of, hey, it's time to bring your bike in, for maintenance. And those customers that ride their bikes a lot will appreciate that, right? They'll appreciate that you're looking out for them. And once again, you make money when you sell it, you make money when you maintain it, and you make money when you do the service on it. Let me see if I can shrink this and get it to the next page. I'm not going to really spend a lot of time on this just because it's really ugly, but the bottom line is you make about 50 points. So you sell it, for whatever you're going to sell it for, you pay us about half of that. When you guys want information on it after this, if you send me, an email or whatever, I'll go ahead and send you out the pricing and, the whole bit, so it's a little bit easier. This is a sample counter card. So when you sign up, not only do you get the brochures, we'll start you out with about 200 brochures per location, and we'll send you 5 of these counter cards per location. These are 8.5 by 11. They're gorgeous. They're on really nice stock. So you can put these in a little plastic holder, have them up there, and it's a nice little sales aid. It will help you, go ahead and talk about everything that's covered on your bike, on their bikes. And let me see if I can get to the next one. And then we also have the sample hang tags. So these will hang from your bikes. We'll send you 100 of these to start with. Okay, so going to market. So we developed the program with NBDA input. Just so that you all know, the NBDA negotiated a 3-year exclusive for you. Okay, now in order to get that 3-year exclusive, there are some things. Okay, we expect a minimum of 5% of you to be signed up before the end of the first year, 10% before the end of the second year, and 20% before the end of the third year. So that's how we're going to market. It is exclusive to you. You can keep it exclusive by joining in and starting to go. As far as signing up, we normally charge $250 to sign up to get you guys started and do the training and all that type of stuff. But for NBDA members, we are going ahead and going to cut that price in half. And so you sign up for $125, but we're going to give you a $250 credit against dealer cost for the first month. Okay, so basically we're cutting your sign-up fee in half, but we're giving you double credit for the first month because we want to give you an incentive to get the stuff in, get the people trained, get it out on display, and start selling it. We are launching now into Q4, hopefully to capture the holiday season for those of you who sign up, and then we'll do a full port press nationwide as we go into next year for spring and summer. After this, we will send you out the dealer and service center agreements. Anybody that signs up will get the POP, materials, file layouts, the whole bit. And then any of you that sell over 1,000 bikes per year, we are going to go ahead and come out to face-to-face training. Okay. We will also do mind spring training, which is really cool, so that if you want your employees to take training and do a test, they can do that. Otherwise, we'll do these type of go-to trainings and run through the whole bit. I'm sure there's people that want to know how claims and work orders work. Pretty simple. When you sign up, you give us your labor rate or your shop rates and the brands that you work on. It's all uploaded into the system along with your dealer information. When there's a problem, you or the customer can call 866-4-RIDES, okay? Submit, or you can submit to claims@insureprotect.com, or you can even go online to www.insureprotect RIDES Service Center. I can show you what that looks like. Hopefully it won't mess everything up. So hopefully you're still looking at this. So if you take a look at this, you'll see that this is for service centers, and you'll be able to enter in a work order authorization, the item description, problem description, repair or replacement, replacement cost, repair cost, so on and that. You submit query, we respond to that literally within a day, and we pay you via credit card, okay, so that you're paid right away. If you don't want credit card, we can pay you via, wire transfer, the whole bit. The other thing that's kind of neat that we designed here, if you take a look at this, the customers can come online, and if you have reported your sales but you didn't have full information on the customer, they can register their plan. They can come on and request service for their items. So if they're traveling somewhere and they want to get service and they don't have access to the 866 number, but they remember that it was called RIDES, they can log on to RIDES and get that. They can even click on here and get the terms and conditions, and which of course aren't working right now, but they'll click on to get terms and conditions, request service for their item, the whole bit. So that's all built in, pretty much ready to go. Let me get back into this. Okay. So the way it works is you get your authorization, you submit the work order. Upon approval, reimburse you within 5 days, credit card or via wire transfer. Realistically, it's more like 1 day unless it's a weekend or unless there's a problem with the way that you submitted the stuff. This is just kind of a fun little slide. Somebody asked me, and I'll deal with this later, but somebody asked about, what research we did. I'll get into the research, but, we know there's about 15 million bikes a year. We know there's about 3 million sold in bike shops. We know the average IBD value right now is up to about 800. We know the average road bike's way up there. E-bikes are, going crazy, selling tons of them. We also know that dealers are getting squeezed by the OEMs. The OEMs are cutting the margin. They're selling directly against you. Some of them, even some of the OEMs that tried to launch a warranty program, tried to pay you cut rates in the back end and so on and so forth. So we know what's going on there. Our goal is to engage you and have a minimum of you guys, 10% of you selling, by the end of year 2. Surf industry, which we think is really funny, that there's such a correlation to the bike industry, because the average surfboard's about $800 too, and the synchronicity with bikes is that these are outdoor people, and the average surfer now owns 3 surfboards, which is kind of like an average bike guy. I know I own multiple bikes. Guys that use bikes a lot have different bikes for different stuff, just like we have different skis for different stuff. So it's really kind of a fun attraction. That's why we want to get into that. Suggestions for future seminars. We would love to do seminars for you guys once you signed up about how to manage and drive extended service programs. We trademarked and invented something called the 5 R's years ago. That's a method that we teach about how to manage and drive extended service plans. We also want to continue to do seminars about how to sell, dealing with you don't know our customers. Everywhere we go, the first thing I hear from employees when I'm trying to train them is, well, you don't know our customers. Well, we kind of do. We've done trainings from Florida to Seattle. We've done trainings from New York down to San Diego. We've gone left to right, top to bottom. And we understand that every customer is unique, every store is unique, but they still have similarities. They buy products that have the same manufacturer's warranties, that have dealers that care about them, that qualify them, that take care of them, that present the right bike and closes, sell them the right accessories, so on and so forth. But one thing we do know is customers aren't happy when their products break and they don't have coverage. This is a way to try to keep your customers happy and make a little money while you're doing it. Another thing that we'll talk about is we're now talking to some of the large POS systems, and we will be integrating into them, tying our APIs together, so that as you sell these every month, you'll be able to hit report and it'll automatically get reported to us. We just want to make it simple, and we'll be showing you guys how to do that as we finish up those integrations and we do the developments into all of that. So we'd like to know, what other type of seminars you want, if you want them. But like I said, when you sign, if you have over 1,000 bikes that you sell a year, we are like super engaged to come out and do face-to-face training. We're willing to do that. And then we also will do, half-hour to 45-minute sales trainings with your teams anytime you get new employees in, or anytime you get people on that you need it. Because one thing we know, extended service plans do not sell themselves. We can go up and we can put, all this nice point of purchase material on display, right? But the reality is these things have to be used. They need to be placed in the customer's hands. They need to be talked about. There needs to be a little bit of engagement about the manufacturer's warranty, and if longer coverage matters to people, if maintenance matters to them, what the value is. You can truly build this in, and so we do want to teach you what the right terminology is and how to do it. So with that said, that is, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Try to keep it short, and I think now we have time for some questions if you want. Okay, what market research did you do to suggest that someone would pay $1,000 over the price of a $10,000 bike for this? It seems outrageously expensive to me. Okay, well, here's the fact. If we have done a lot of market research, we have been selling extended service plans across virtually every industry, like I said, for the last 40 years. Here's how it works. 1-year extensions, okay, tend to be about 10% of the selling price of the bike, okay, or the product. 2-year extensions, 15 to 20% of the selling price of the bike. 4-year extensions, which you see it as 5-year warranties on like appliances and stuff like that, tend to be 25 to 30%. So if you look at what we did, instead of calling it a 1-year extension or a 2-year extension, we call it a 2 or 3-year date of purchase. Now, a customer that is buying a $1,000 bike, if he comes in and has one maintenance, okay, he just basically paid for his extended service plan. And then he continues to have the coverage on his bike for his shocks or his wheels or his rims or his derailleurs or his chains, because literally virtually anything that's going to happen to the bike, we're going to cover, okay? Now, on a $10,000 bike, he may have $5,000, $6,000 of that in the frame. Maybe not. Maybe he's got $3,000 of that frame. Maybe he's got $2,000 wheel sets. Maybe he's got, $1,000 DI derailleur setup. I don't know. I don't know what his cassette is, what his setup is, what everything else is. I don't even know what his headset is. But if he's paying $10,000 for a bike, and I do ride a Pinarello, so I have an expensive bike with camping gear on it. The idea that if he crashes that thing or messes up a wheel set and has to buy a new wheel set on that, and instead he's already covered with an extended service plan, and he can bring it in 3 times a year for 3 maintenance per year for a total of 6 maintenances, which is basically $500+ worth. I don't know. Will he pay it? Won't he? Based upon what people pay for their other products, whether whatever industry it's from, we're going to find out. Also, $10,000 bikes, and I appreciate your question, are fairly rare. And the fact is when the price goes up, so does the risk, because the cost of replacing those componentry or the cost of repairing those componentry, even if they crack the frame, goes up for us and for the underwriter, right? The cost in a medium price bike, let's say $2,000, you'll see cost less, which is why, let me see if I can get back to this here. So if you look in here, you'll notice that all of the prices are based upon the selling price of the bike, because our risk factor goes up with the price of the bike. Not the risk that the frequency of repairs goes up, but the risk that the severity, the cost of each average repair goes up. That's why it's priced like this. Now, if we find out that you get pushback on all these, and everybody's saying, you know what, 3 years for a $10,000 bike, or the price, whatever, $2,100, let's see, I'm going to get 6 maintenances. Okay, so really, what does that drive the price down to? I don't know. Is this going to be sellable? I don't know. We're going to find out. If it's not, you know, then we can look at it. We can adjust the coverages on it, and we can, you know, possibly drive the price down. But, you know, your question is $1,000 for the price of a $10,000 bike. That's just 10%. We would find that most people would pay that without maintenance because it's just 10%. I mean, that is, in my other dealers, that's a 30 to 40% attachment rate, a 10% price. In our case, we went ahead and loaded in maintenance on this too. So not only do they get the value of the coverage in their service contract, but they get the value of their maintenance too. So I don't know if that answered it, but yeah, we've done a ton of market research. We know what the break points are. I can tell you what to expect as far as your attachment rates on these price points. Anything under 99 is about an 8% attachment rate. Anything 100 to 500 goes up to about 15% attachment rate. As you get over 400, you're going to look at 20% on top. As you get over 500 on up, that's kind of how people equate their coverage decisions with attachment rates. Let's see if there's other questions on here. Neil, how do you determine how much to pay a bike shop for a given service? Okay, we do not pay flat rates unless they're your flat rates. We do not tell you what to charge us. You can ask Chad when he submitted his service center sign-up form. You submit to us either what your labor rate is, that you charge a customer the same thing you would post, or you can just send us out what your separate charges are, and we'll upload those into the system. So pretty much you determine what to pay us for that. We don't determine that to you. Now, obviously, we keep data. You know, we'll be able to track, you know, what the charges are all over the country, so on and so forth. But, you know, this is not an inexpensive program on purpose, right? This program is one that we want you to want to sell because we know you're not going to get paid, you know, a discount rate on the back end. We want you to charge us exactly what you would charge a customer, but it will be up to you to submit that to us. Chad, you're talking a lot about attachment rates. What are the risks if we don't start selling plans like this? You mean, what are the risks to you, or what are the risks to us? Our risk on this program is calculated at a very low attachment rate. We started, okay, what are you leaving on the table? But just so you know, we took a look at this. We looked at the first year, we're guessing you're going to hit about a 3%, the second year up to about a 10, and the third year a 20. It takes everybody to get used to selling it. What are you leaving on the table? Okay, well, let's go like this. So if your store, if your company does $1 million a year in bike sales, and I'm just using this number because then you can break it down to 500,000 or put it up to whatever. If you do $1 million a year in bike sales and the 20/20 attachment rate applies, you're going to make an extra. So 20% of $1 million is 200,000, and then the average warranty is 20%. So 20% times 200,000, you're going to leave $40,000 on the table at 50% points. Okay, 50% margin, $20,000 profit if you don't offer this. It doesn't cost you anything to offer it, right? It basically, the customer's going to say yes or no, okay? If you do a good job, great amount of the customers are going to say yes, but that's just 20% attachment rate. If you get 30% attachment rate for every million, now you're 60,000. If you get 40%, now you're 80,000. Now that's just the sales. Now remember, you pay us about 50% of that money. Out of that money, a third of it goes to my company to administrate these warranties, do training, do all this type of stuff for you. The other 2/3 goes to the insurance company, and it sits in a reserve fund. If you do the claims we think you're going to do, 70% of that reserve will come back to you in the form of service. Okay, so when Chad's talking about what are you leaving on the table, you're leaving a tremendous amount of money on the sales side, and you're leaving a tremendous amount of money on the service side. How do the renewals work? Is the pricing going to be the same as the initial purchase? No, Neil. The renewals go up or down based upon the claims rates, okay, and the age of the bike and the particular customer. The renewals are very, very complex, but they're based upon a lot of data, how often the customers use their claim, what they've cost, what the overall program costs, so on and so forth. Generally speaking, renewals go up about 5 to 10% a year. So more of that over the initial price. That's a good general answer on that. Any other questions? Okay. So here's the bottom line, the way I look at it. Okay. Oh, Chad has another question. Any other questions? Yes. I don't know if you're typing it or not. But while he's typing it, here's what we know, right? And I think I already touched base on this. Extended service plans do not sell themselves. Okay. What they do for you is they enable you to have a conversation that shows them that you offer something that they're being offered everywhere else. If they walk into a Best Buy, if they walk into a Camping World, if they walk into any retailer, if they walk in and buy a mobile phone, if they walk and they buy anything these days, they're given the ability to buy an extended service plan program with accidental damage, with this or that. Very few extended service plan programs offer people the chance to buy a program, okay, that they don't have to break their bike in order to use it. This is truly a win-win situation. It's a win for you because you make money. It's a win for the customer because they maintain their bike. And it's a win for us because we know if the customer maintains the bike, the likelihood of us having a very expensive repair down the line is reduced. That's another reason we put that together. So this is a benefit to all, okay, to be able to offer rides, Ride It Daily extended service that focuses on repair, replace, and maintain. And Chad asked, under what circumstances would a claim be refused? There would be a few. If we got a claim out of nowhere, if we just got a submission, for a claim that we didn't know was coming in, we wouldn't necessarily refuse it, but we would want to talk to the customer and make sure that repair was actually done on the bike. Essentially the only things we don't cover on this, right, are what you would expect, okay? They're abuse, misuse, which isn't generally going to happen with a bike, consumables, right? So we're not going to cover tires. We're not going to cover tubes. We're not going to cover, bike seat fabric, things like that, consumables that are meant to wear out. We're not going to cover a battery or a light bulb in a light, right? Those are consumables, that type of thing. We're not going to cover acts of God, right? If their bike is, in a house that's flooded, we're not going to cover that, right? The idea is to cover this while the bike is in use or while they've been using it, right? If the guy is driving his bike down the street, it's sitting on top of his car on a bike rack and he racks it into a tree, that was not accidental damage or failure to the bike while it was in use, right? That's just what I like to call customer lameness. Those are the type of things we're going to refuse a claim on, Chad. We really aren't in the business of refusing claims. Remember, we're an independent administrator. Our job is to make you look good to your consumers, right? We worked really hard on these rates. We did a lot of research. The rates are properly underwritten. If it turns out that the usage on the maintenance is way lower than we expect, then we'll be able to hone the program. We'll be able to lower the prices and go at it that way, okay? But we made some assumptions. We made assumptions that the failure rate would be about 2.5% a year on all the bikes that were bought. We made assumptions that the maintenance rate would be about 10% of all the people, that bought these things. So obviously, somebody that has 3 times a year, that's a 30% use. That's substantial, right? So, we priced it that way. We priced it with those assumptions. If it turns out, that only 5% of the people use the maintenance, then obviously it's going to enable us to use that historically and lower the prices and change the whole program because people won't be getting the use out of the program the way we designed it. But we think we've designed it with feedback from you guys from consumers we've talked to, from the underwriters, the actuaries. We think this is a good program for you so that we can roll it. We continue to roll it for years to come. So if anybody that's been on here wants to talk about it, no, we don't believe brake leading or fork seals are considered consumables. Fork seals are part of, you know, what has to be done on a maintenance or what can cause the forks to fail, and we consider brake leading part of the maintenance. Got to have brakes, man. You got to be running right. Especially, I'm going back to Downeyville in 2 weeks. That's where I got injured last September doing the Downeyville Classic, where I tore my knee up. I just had knee surgery May 3rd, and I'm going back to Downeyville in October. So I'm going to go get my brakes all tweaked out and everything tweaked out before I go up there myself. So hope that answered that question. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I thank all of you for coming on board and taking a listen to this today. My contact information, I'm Frank at Insure Protect, or you can just, you know, go info at Insure Protect. You can call me. You can call 8664-RIDES. That'll get to us. You can call me directly if you'd like my mobile number at 415-652-8056. I'll get a list of everybody that was on this seminar today, and I will send you out information. And then you'll have my contact information, and then we'll be, you know, we'll be in contact. But if you want to sign up, we're ready to get you going. We have supplies in-house. We're ready to help kick you off. And like I said, I'm seeing Chad on Monday. Looking forward to meeting him and his crew and setting his stores up, doing some training. So thank you all. Thank you for coming aboard. And I look forward to a long and prosperous relationship. Rochelle or Brandy, anything else I should be adding or deleting?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything.
I think we're good. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Brandy. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.